Hey yo, once again it's on. We back at you one more again. We in the house like kitchen sinks. That's right, Real Kens TV is back at you. Hopefully you like the video. Feel free to comment, subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. Definitely hit that post notification. So anytime I bring you this action, you're amongst the first to receive it. And I like to apologize for all the noise in the background, man. There's a couple things going on, but hopefully you all can hear me just fine. I want to talk about the dangers of prison, man. Because I get a lot of people actually that email me, realkenstv at yahoo.com, realkenstv at yahoo.com. I try to answer all questions. I'm a small channel, so I can pretty much answer all questions right now, comments and things of that nature. But, I had someone ask me, and she was basically concerned because her husband is locked up and he's having some problems with an individual, and he's trying to avoid confrontation because he's trying to make it home as soon as he possibly can to his family, and he doesn't want to get a write-up. So she's asking me, what's the best thing that he can do in that situation. That's deep right there, because as I've stated several times in past videos, prison is a very dangerous, violent place, and nobody cares anything about you. Nobody cares anything about you in this world, with the exception of, loved ones, family, obviously, friends. But in prison, man, you got some evil people in there. You got some great people in there as well. Don't get me wrong. But when I say evil people, meaning that you may be locked up with a person that's never going home. That's why you never tell a person, how much time that you have in prison. Unless it's just somebody like real close to you or whatever. But you got people in there that's never going home, or they're not going home for the next 30, 40 years, which essentially they're not going to make it home in most cases. And, and they know that you have short time. You have an opportunity to go home within a year, 2, 3 years or whatever. They can try to make it hard for you. And I'm not saying everybody does that, but I have seen instances where that happened. I had a situation with myself. I was close to going up for parole. And, I'm trying to do everything I can do. I'm taking my classes. I'm staying out of the way, staying out of trouble. Definitely staying, anything that could cause me to extend my stay, I was staying away from. And it was one particular day. It was a guy, man, and we was cool. You know what I'm saying? He was sitting by my bed because we was in an open bay. Basically what that means is just like an army barracks. You got your bunk beds or whatever, they're just made of steel, and it's maybe 50 people, I want to say, in a dorm. I want to say roughly 50 people. And I was sitting on my bed. I had a bottom bunk, and my partner came over. He was sitting in his chair. We was just watching the game. Wasn't loud anything. It was another dude. He probably slept because it's real tight headquarters. It's not very, very spacey. So I want to say dude's bed was maybe, I don't know, 5 feet away. And this particular dude, man, he was about, I say Nick was about 6'6". He was a lanky guy. He wasn't a real big guy. He was just kind of lanky, And a lot of people were scared of Nick for some reason. I don't know. Now, let me tell you this though. This particular time, I wasn't in an actual prison. I was in like it was a jail. See what I'm saying? Because in Kentucky, they don't always send you to prison. They'll send you to a jail, and they call them Class D facilities, and where, they offer a couple different programs. So now they're allowed to keep state inmates, and you may get to go out and work on the road crew, mowing grass, picking up, dead animals, silly job, working at the dog pound, weed eating, things of that nature. But you're not getting real money. You get maybe, I don't know, $12, $13 a month. You know what I'm saying? So, you may get to go out and work out in the community. It's for low-level inmates. But at any rate, I just want to let that be known. This particular time, I wasn't in prison. And, dude, Nick, man, a lot of people were scared of him or whatever. Like I said, I don't know why. You know, he had whooped a couple dudes, but Nick was alright, man. Cool dude, man. And you know, we made sure we was very respectful. So we sitting there, we just watching the game, and Nick wakes up, and you could tell that he's in a bad mood. You know, so I'm like, "What's up, Nick? You alright?" And he just sits there, kind of like, you know, with his hands, you know, kind of covering his face up, or his face in his hands rather. So, you know, he gets to shaking and rocking back and forth. So, you know, I don't think nothing of it. I'm used to seeing him act that way. So he's like, man, I'm sick and tired every time I'm trying to sleep, man. You know, y'all disrespectful over there. So I'm looking around, I'm like, who, you talking to me? He was like, yeah, I'm talking to you. I was like, how are we disrespectful, man? We ain't even loud. He was like, dude, y'all been over here and I'm trying to sleep, and I can't sleep because of screaming and yelling. First of all, the dude that came by my bed, you know, my partner or whatever, he's not even no loud person. Secondly, he's very respectful, man. He was an older dude, man. I was like, dude, ain't nobody loud by your, you know, being loud by your bed. You just woke up in a bad mood and you just mad, looking for somebody to take it out on. And you got the right one today, big boy. And I was on one that particular day because Nick, he had been, you know, he had been saying little things, and I, you know, kind of been letting it slide or whatever. So, you know, I told him, you got the right one, big boy. So Nick, he puts his shoes on. So as he's putting his shoes on, I see him putting his shoes on. I'm putting my shoes on. Now in jail, anytime you see people putting their shoes on, it's on. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nothing else to talk about. That's just how it works, man. You know, let me go get my shoes or whatever. It's on. So he's putting his shoes on. I'm putting my shoes on. So he stands up. Like I said, he tall dude, 6'6", 6'7". He stands up, but he's still, you know, he's still a nice distance away from me. So I was like, shit, let's get to this bathroom. The bathroom is where it goes down, man. So I stand up and I'm walking to the bathroom. He turns around and he screams. He's like, ah, by God. And that's what he said, by God. And he turns around. As he's screaming, he turns around and he swings at me. I see the punch coming. I'm talking about, I see it. But for some reason, I couldn't get all the way out of the way. So he hits me. Wow, he catches me. Like, when he hits me, part of his knuckle, like, kind of went in my eye a little bit. So I'm sitting there and, you know what I'm saying, I'm like, the punch didn't hurt me because he didn't even fully connect with me. It was the fact of his knuckle going in my eye, and my eye was blurry. So instead of him just rushing me, because if he had to rush me, he easily would have gotten me, you know, but he didn't rush me. He actually backed up and was like, started beating on his chest. You know, I guess he'd been watching wrestling or something, you know, I don't know. Thought he was WWE or something. So at that point, while he's doing all of that, it gave me a moment to really, you know, get myself together, man. Get my wits, you know, up under me or whatever. So he does that. I'm like, all right, in my mind, forget going to the bathroom. We got to do it right here. So immediately while he's doing all that, I run up on him. I swing at him. He lets me get too close. Again, he's 6'6", 6'7". So you can imagine this dude got long arms and he knows how to fight. So I get up on him. I swing at him. I hit him. I connect, but I don't, you know, fully connect with him. But I connect. So now I'm close to him. I go up under him. You know, I scoop him up. Well, when I scoop him up, the dude is so heavy, man. Like I said, I guess having all that height, you know, he wasn't like a real muscular type dude, but, you know, having all of that height, man, he was heavier than what I thought. So I get him off the ground, but I can't really turn him over. You know what I'm saying? Plus, my legs, I ain't been into it in a while. So, you know, my legs wasn't all the way up under me. So as I'm trying to pick him up and slam him, I start falling backwards. As I'm falling backwards, the momentum's coming towards me. I'm like, oh my God. So somehow, I don't know how, I was able to turn right before we hit the ground to where I landed on top of him. So now I'm on top of him, and he's trying to get up, and I can feel how strong he is, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's just strong, man. So I'm on top of him, and I'm hitting hit him a couple times, but he's covering his face up, so I ain't really getting, any good shots. But as he's covering his face up, I realized like his rib area was all open because he's like this, with both of his hands. I catch him one good time in the ribs. Bam! All you heard, it was like a balloon. It was like, you just heard like all the air going out of him. And once I did that, he lowered his hand to kind of cover his ribs up. Caught him a couple times in the face, man. Just busted him up a little bit, man. But the whole time, dude is still trying to get up. It's crazy how strong he, and I'm not I wasn't a weak dude or whatever. So he's still trying to get up, and I'm like, oh man, in my mind, I'm like, man, I can't let this big son bitch up, man. So he's getting up. So as he finally makes his way to his feet, he grabs onto the bunk, to the bed or whatever. So he's holding the bed, but I'm trying to pull him away from the bed. You know what I'm saying? Hit him a couple more times, bam, bam. And then finally they turned the lights on. When they turned the lights on, I knew we was caught because there's cameras everywhere. But we was kind of like, my rack was over, my bed area was over in the corner, so they may not have seen it or whatever. And they turned the lights on and they rush in there and they break it up or whatever. So when they break it up, I'm actually glad that they came in there because I was like, man, I ain't great. This big dude is strong, man, and me continuing to, be able to keep him at bay, I don't know, man. I was tired, I was winded. But so yeah, they called me up front or whatever, and they called him up front, asked us what happened or whatever. And basically, when they got me in the room, this is no joke, man. And like I said, this don't really happen in prison, man. But this was a jail, one of them small town country jails or whatever. The guy, one of the jailers, literally shook my hand. He was like, man, I'd like to thank you, man. He was like, man, that guy, man, he's been terrorizing people every time he comes in this jail. Finally, somebody stood up to me. He was like, I'd like to thank you. He said, man, if y'all can sign this waiver and agree that you all can get along, then I'm not going to throw either one of y'all in the hole. I was like, man, I ain't got no problem if he ain't got a problem. Dude said he ain't have a problem or whatever. He came back, they got us in the room. He was like, man, I apologize, man. I just woke up in a bad mood or whatever. I'm like, man, it's all good. We all go through it. We talked our differences out like men. And guess what? Neither one of us got in trouble. Neither one of us, ended up getting any write-ups. And I still didn't make it home because I think I ended up getting in another fight after that. So I didn't make it home when I was supposed to. But ultimately, as you can see, I made it home. This was years and years ago. I'm talking, this was over 10 years ago. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's a situation that, that I particularly had, and that's how I dealt with it. So getting back to the lady and, the question she asked me, man, the best thing he can do is just try to avoid it. Maybe even talk to the dude. Like, listen, man, was it something I did? But a lot of times in prison, that don't work. It shows a sign of weakness. And if he's actually in a prison, that may not be the best of ideas. The only thing he can do is just keep his head on a swivel, try to stay away from the dude, but yet at the same time, stay ready, man. Stay ready at all times and already know in his mind what he's going to do if the time comes, man. Because you can't let anybody just chump you out. It's not like, on the streets to where you can just kind of mind your business or whatever. Sometimes, man, that don't work. Oftentimes, that don't work in prison, man. So that's a situation, like I said, that happened to me. I was close to going up for parole. I didn't make parole, but it was due to something else. Didn't even have anything to do. I was kind of a knucklehead back then. I was younger. But, just think about it. That situation really could have cost me, not to go home, even though I didn't go home anyway. But I'm just saying, that particular situation that I put myself in could have, caused me to extend my stay longer, because all I had to do was really just kind of calm the situation down. I'm the old, I was older in the situation, older than him, and I let my emotions get the best of me. So that's one particular fight that I had while locked up. Many, many more. Didn't win them all either, just to be honest. But as long as you fight back, man, people see that, man, this guy, he got some respect about himself. He got some heart about himself, man. He ain't gonna let nobody just, do him any type of way, and that's how you get your respect when you locked up, man. So like I said, just tell him, man, just try to stay clear, and just be ready for anything, man, because once it comes your way, man, parole, going home, all that's out the window at that point. You got to defend yourself, man. You know what I'm saying? You got to be, I mean, they'll kill you in there, man. They'll kill you, or they'll hurt you real bad, so you got to be ready to defend yourself, man. Hopefully you liked the video. Again, I apologize for the noise in the background. I mean, a couple things going on. Real Kens TV, feel free to comment, subscribe if you haven't already subscribed, share, and hit that post notification, so anytime I drop you this heat, bring a video to you like this, you're amongst the first to receive it, man. Till next time, Real Kens TV, we out.